What's up, everyone? Today I'm joined by Enter Shikari. So last time you and I talked was you'd just gotten stuck in the elevator. I don't know if you remember that, but that was
it haunts me.
You don't forget something like that.
Yeah.
I am so sorry. Today is a little bit of a different context, as you've just played at Wembley. Huge congratulations.
Thank you.
I've seen photos, I've seen videos. It must have been spectacular. How did it feel when you woke up the next day after?
The relief, I think, was the most palpable emotion. Just the amount of work and time that went into it, and it actually went really well. It was kind of not quite disbelief, but just relief, and just we did it. We did it.
Yeah,
I was still buzzing all through the next day, which is quite rare, really. Normally, by the next morning, it's new day. But yeah, I was the effects lasted a good couple of days. It was great.
Yeah, but playing Wembley, I think, was overdue. So that was one thing. But then playing Wembley with that show, with that amount of dimensions to it, and nothing really went that wrong, which is kind of almost rare, isn't it, when there's so many aspects to a show.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were super happy.
Awesome. So the last two times that you played here in the city, I think last year you played, it was an album release show, so it wasn't intimate, a one-off exclusive kind of event. You played I think 500 cap venue or so. Before that, that's when I saw you 2022 in another very small venue here in Hamburg, and it was packed, obviously. How come? Is that a thing? Was that a deliberate thing? Because obviously you can fill bigger venues, but is it something about the city? Something about logistics, or?
We've always had a good time here. Shows have always. I mean, to be honest, in the whole of Germany, shows are always great. There's always such a enthusiasm and energy. But yeah, Hamburg, I think, has always been really good for us. And it's quite nice that we're a band that's at a level where we can do big shows, but we can also do the little kind of sweatier, more intimate shows, because we enjoy both. Mm-hmm. But I mean, obviously tonight will be very different from the last few times that we've played here. But yeah, it's just nice to have that variation.
Okay.
You always end up longing for the one that you're not currently doing.
Yeah, probably, huh?
Yeah. Grass is always greener,
Definitely, yes. But so you intend to bounce around too in the future between larger production, huge venues and kind of smaller ones, or is there no going back now after Wembley?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, our management will just come to us and say, "Oh, we think you should do this venue for these reasons," and we're just we've got a
coming at us with their reasons.
Yeah. There's always some sort of logistical reason for doing stuff, and so we got this thing where we get this big long message on the WhatsApp from management, and then we all just reply with emoji thumbs up.
Oh yeah,
it drives them crazy. But a lot of the time it's just do you know what, I'm sure you got this.
Solid feedback. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Got it. So, and also I want to reference again something that we talked about last time. Let me jog your memory. We were talking about live production elements, and we were talking about water, water as a special effect on stage. And with this, I mean, at this point, obviously we've got a goldfish, we've got a giant Pacific octopus, we've got, ships in Bermuda, what have you. Wouldn't this be the perfect time to bring a giant aquarium or something to with you on tour?
We definitely have discussed water options, but obviously it's just kind of dangerous.
A little bit too much, yeah.
But so what we've got on this one is fake water tanks and things. So there's a lot of water in the visuals, at least.
Yes, yeah,
a lot of the digital representations of water, but not quite the real. Actually, there's a little bit of the real thing as well.
There you go.
Yeah, I flick a bit of water around.
There you go. Okay.
So, yeah, it's
All right. Take it all back. There's a little bit of analog water there going on. Awesome. Okay. And I like to say that I called it. Okay. 5 years ago. So let's talk about a little bit about Enter Shikari and Fever, or Jason specifically, because you guys go way back, right? Because I saw you in, I think, like 2011 with Let Live. So you've toured before, I think, in the US as well. Tell me a little bit about the relationship, the single as well.
Yeah, we toured with Let Live probably like more than maybe any other band. So yeah, obviously really close with them. And yeah, I mean, we've kind of, whenever we've like bumped into each other at festivals and stuff, we've always hung out. When we were booking this tour, Fever came up as a suggestion, and we just thought it'd be great to reunite. And they're just such a good live band. They're just so good. And then we happened to be making a track as well, and we were like, oh, you know, this could tie in nicely, because the track, it's just like it's made. Well, it's not literally made for Jason, but like when you listen to it, it's like, yeah, you can totally hear his voice on that, like with the different vocal styles. I mean, it's not many people really that I can think of that would be able to pull off that kind of song, like, you know, with those kind of varying vocal styles. Apart from Rao and Jason, can't really think of anyone else. I'm sure there must be loads. But, yeah, so yeah, it just seemed very serendipitous. I hate using that word, but
it's a great
it's
word.
the only word that
There
I
you
could
go.
think of that. Yeah.
Meant to be.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Anything to add on your side?
No, not really. I think we were just super happy with how it turned out, and just felt really honoured to have Jason on it. You know, he's like a force of nature, really. Not just with his obvious live energy, but he seems to be like incessantly creative, and it's always interesting as well. You know, like nothing he's put out seems like it was half-assed or something.
Right.
There's always intent. There's always real emotion, and it's. Yeah, it's been awesome being on the track together.
Cool. You describe yourselves as non-confrontational, which I find very funny, because yes, maybe it's an English thing, but I to avoid conflict with a passion. Not many Germans do. Germans are very good at conflict, and I feel like it is a skill. You know, it's a skill to have, and I need to practice it. Have you ever encountered in a touring context a conflict of, a conflict of interest in terms of maybe someone you're touring with has a shitstorm or something, or, you know, and you're personally friends with them, but there's money involved too, and like shows are scheduled, and I don't know. Have you ever encountered a conflict like that, and if so, how did you tackle it?
I can't really think of an example, but anything that's like a difficult, we'll just talk about quite calmly.
Yeah.
Like as a band, we're all, yeah, as you say, like quite non-confrontational. But I suppose the positive side of that is that we're calm, and it means we're actually able to speak about difficult things with a bit of consideration. And, you know, there's a lot of people in our broader team who are not like that. So what happens usually is like they'll be the ones who get like all het up and like kind of unhelpfully angry or something, and like we'll be like, well, come on, we can deal with this. We can deal with this. So yeah, I don't know. We just tend to. It never gets to a stage which becomes kind of extreme in any way, really. And I think there are negative points to that trait, but, you know, we're one of the only bands that we know of that are still here after 20 years. So there must be have a positive to it as well.
Yes, the calm you exude, and just the sense of harmony that you spread, which is funny because you're so outspoken. You know, like the things you address with your music are not conflict avoidant, so that's quite an interesting, but I think a very valuable trait to have. Can I talk to you, Rao, about this like loss of self and identity that you experienced? You talked about not being able to write, not being able to play shows and stuff, and you're talking about having to learn how to get your sense of self or self-worth through something other than that which defined you your entire life, basically, which is the band. What is that? Have you figured that out? Like something internal?
Well, to some extent, I think in this realm of experience, like the whole COVID period was almost a little bit helpful, really, because for the first time I wasn't Rao from Enter Shikari, which the immediate knee-jerk reaction for the first few months was just kind of fear and disorientation. It's just like, well, this has always been my life, so it kind of forced me to do other things, and I ended up writing the book A Treatise on Possibility. So there was still an element of me being me, Rao from Enter Shikari, but essentially, that book, even though it's ostensibly a lyric focused book, it's not really. It's really like an analysis of the human trajectory. So it's like this really broad thing. So I found solace, and I found myself in like research and in like sociology and anthropology and all these fascinating subjects. And I found myself in gardening and growing my own like vegetables and things, and and also it just music that just as a like a form of stress relief, and did lots of meditation, during COVID did live streamed meditation things with just on Instagram and stuff, which was really lovely, like creating a little community that kind of brought people together to take a moment to be present and do things that most of the time our life doesn't make available to us. Actually to take time to be present and to breathe and practice whatever it is, gratitude or just relaxation or a sense of acceptance with whatever position you're in, and deeper thought and stuff. That was so that was all fascinating. So there was lots of different aspects of my life that came much more to the forefront, and it just kind of broadened my life a bit, which was nice.
I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper into that whole thing.
Splurge.
The human
Splurge
psyche
of life,
and our, who are we? So Giant Pacific Octopus really resonated with me in the sense that me too, if someone was like, who are you? Yeah. Dude, I don't fucking know. Like I'd be the same. Oh yeah, 20 to 30 personalities. Whoa, whatever. And I always have that expectation that at some point, the older I get, the more I get to know myself, I'll eventually get to that point where I'm like, oh yeah, now I've made it. Now I know who I am. Here is the definition. Is for you the point to kind of accept the fact that you're never going to get there? Or do you have that perspective of like, oh yeah, hopefully eventually I'll also have an answer?
No, I think I'm of the first train of thought there, that it's about sort of celebrating the journey, and the journey is all that exists. There is no destination. There is no, oh, I am this person, this is who I am. Like, I think it's just a massive misconception in life that most people hold, really, that we're this like defined thing, and we can't do a lot to change who we are as well. It's very limiting, can be like quite a claustrophobic thing when you look at it negatively. Obviously there's also massive positives you can take if you have like a strong sense of like who you are. That you can get a lot of self-confidence and assertiveness and kind of focus if you have that sense, but I don't necessarily think it's always a good thing. when I started thinking about it, at first it was scary. It's like, actually, yeah, I don't really know who I am, and like I'm always change, like different situations, different people. My personality changes like loads. Sometimes I surprise myself. Sometimes I frustrate myself. But you know, the more you talk about it, you realise that that's actually a universal feeling that humans that think about it usually think that kind of way.
Dude, that might be. You just gave me a really interesting. Another thing to think about. Not that I, don't already think about it, way too much. But yeah, if you don't even ask yourself the question, you're like, there's your answer. It's like, oh yeah, what you're looking at is, yeah, that's who I am, of course. But if you start to question yourself, you're like,
yeah,
fuck. Wow, yeah.
It goes all the way back to like Socrates, really, and just like a non-analyzed life is not worth living. If you're not like thinking about your life, thinking about yourself, thinking about your experiences, then you're not really living. You're just kind of, I don't know, you're just sort of being or something. You're not really like experiencing it fully. And even like the pre-Socratics were the ones who said that everything is in a state of flux. And I think that's the only constant in life, that everything's changing, including yourself. But we often think that we're not. We often think we're this fixed thing. It can be quite troublesome, I think.
Yeah. I've been trying to get used to that idea. The whole like, we're always transitioning. Nothing's permanent. I'm trying to get used to that, but I haven't really come to like accepting that.
Yeah.
It's a difficult thing.
It can cause you like a lot of discomfort as well if you're like, if you're trying to be a certain type of person, or if you think you are a certain type of person, you're like, oh, I finally figured it out, and then you start feeling a different way or acting a different way, and you're like, I'm doing something wrong. But it's actually, no, it's not wrong necessarily, it's just part of who you are, but you just don't accept that part.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, I don't want to get into this even more than we already have. But
Sorry, yeah.
No. I mean, I love talking about that stuff. I love talking about it. There was something like a virtuoso violinist or something, and then she like lost her hand, or I don't know. And then she was so locked into that identity, but then that forced her to, be like, oh, who am I outside of that? I mean, similar, right? And then she was forced to kind of change her own
That's fascinating. Can you
identity
imagine?
of
The
herself,
mindset of having to do that.
Yeah. Like your whole entire life is like, okay, and practice 15 hours a day to win that competition, to get into that school, to play with that orchestra, and then like, whoops.
I think,
No.
I mean, this is going to go even deeper still, but like,
Please. Yes, here for it.
I think part of that is actually a fault of capitalism, because it's so obsessed with specialization. And we ask kids when they're like 8, what do you want to be when you grow up? As if there's like this one narrow thing that you will now do for the rest of your life. You will define your whole personality around this. And that's not what human beings are. We're like incredibly curious. We like breadth. We like diversity. We like, we get intrigued by all sorts of things. Every day something intrigues us. So I think it's again a dangerous thing, that one of the multiple dangerous things, aspects to capitalism, really, but a more subtle one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, our success as Homo sapiens in evolution is due almost entirely to our adaptability, to like adapt into different cultures and adopt different ideologies and stuff. So, like, even though genetically we're all the same, but civilizations develop so vastly differently. I remember when I was a teenager, and I suddenly started realizing that this society is just one way of living. It's not necessarily the way. And if I grew up somewhere else, then I would think differently, I would act differently. So yeah, it's that adaptability that I think, like I was saying, capitalism seems to try to squish, stay in your lane, be productive citizen, do this one job and keep the economy going.
Yep. Survival of the fittest.
Sorry.
No. You're good. You're good. You're good. How much time we got? Sorry. Maybe last one to wrap it up. I hear there's someone got a new tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a new tattoo.
Do you care to show it off? I know.
I will, but
no.
it's covered in like second skin, so
Yeah,
it's a bit
okay.
blurry. But
Okay.
He's got
Okay.
two.
Okay.
So I'm not sure which one he's going to show you. I hope
Can
he's going to show
someone
you the
keep an
one
eye
that.
on the camera? Get zoomed in on that thing.
so, this is
Oh.
one of them.
Okay.
I got some grass. I got some grass. My plan is to get like a whole wild meadow scene sleeve.
Nice.
Get
Okay.
some wild flowers and stuff. And then this one is it's one that
Beautiful.
Rob drew.
Yeah.
As in Rob the drummer, my band. Not a child called Rob.
Easily mistaken.
I've just always wanted I don't know why, I've always wanted a badly drawn flaming guitar. And I just asked Rob to draw it because he's not very good at drawing.
Success,
So that
I
was
would
it.
say. Nice one. Okay.
And then Rob even did some of the line work as well, so to make it extra wobbly. So yeah, I love it. I'm so stoked with
what
it.
you wanted. Yeah.
Exactly what I
okay.
wanted, yeah.
Nice. Okay. On that note, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Have an awesome time tonight here in
Thank
Hamburg,
you.
Germany.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's been
Thanks.
fun. Cheers.
See you guys next time, and see you guys next time.